Hello and welcome to Camp Xbox, where we talk about all things Xbox, new and old. And on today's agenda is the 2005 original Xbox game, Project Snowblind. This game comes from interesting origins, starting with the 2000 game Deus Ex, which is considered one of the most important games of the new millennium. Offering a dark adult story and highly deep levels with multiple ways to explore and finish, it created a game that had never been done before. It was a highly influential work and would go on to spawn multiple sequels, some with high praise and some with a more mixed reception. In the early 2000s, with the success of the original game, Eidos wanted to branch out and flesh out a universe of games featuring this cyberpunk-themed world of Deus Ex. One game, though, would fall through the cracks during production, and that was Project Snowblind. Development for this game started in 2004 by Crystal Dynamics under publishing rights from Eidos. It was Crystal Dynamics' first foray into the first-person shooter genre after working on platforming games like Gex or the first two Pandemonium games. While consulting with the Deus Ex creative team Ion Storm, they were set out to flesh out this all-new entry into the franchise. At some point in development, though, it was decided to push this into what is now known as Project Snowblind. But the reason I give you all this context is because it's interesting as how it retains what made Deus Ex what it was, and those remnants are still there, and that's what I found interesting about this game when I played it. From the plot alone, we get a sense of how the story of Deus Ex's cyberpunk augmentation plays into Project Snowblind. You play as Nathan Frost, who has joined the Liberty Coalition in Hong Kong to defend an attack from the Republic led by a rogue general. Right out of the gate, this game goes from 0 to 100. In this opening level, you play as just a normal soldier, but at the very end of it, you're blown up and now become a cybernetic killing machine. Using your new powers, you take down the Republic all by yourself, and it's a bit goofy, but that was the world of gaming at the time, honestly, and it's just mindless enough to not be horribly distracting. Never doing anything quite special, but managing to at least stay tonally similar for the whole game. The story of the other Deus Ex games handle it a little less goofy and in a lot more different way, so just on that alone, I would say that it was a good choice to not keep this in the same universe. It allows itself to be its own thing and shape its own mythos. In level design, though, it's totally at home with the franchise, offering up levels that ask you to tackle it in any way you want. You could run in with all guns out and shooting everything that moves, you could stealth your way through the levels, or do a little bit of both. At times, the combat is so much fun. It feels so fast and fluid, allowing for you to turn off your brain and just have a good time. The AI will just run right at you into the heat of the battle, and you can just take them down very easily, and it's satisfying. Another huge thing this game has going for it is its giant arsenal. You have a multitude of guns, augments, and grenades to use to destroy your enemies. Assault rifles, spider bots, energy weapons, riot shields, and so much more. It's such a wild amount of things in your arsenal that it honestly feels on par with the Ratchet and Clank games. Unfortunately, this insane amount of weapons and the level design do not create something that goes hand in hand together. The game never asks you to specifically use any gadgets or weapons to get through enemies or solve any sort of puzzle. I never felt like it ever wanted me to be all that creative with my stuff. I maybe used the same weapon for most of the playthrough because it just worked. It never set anything up to make me want to switch it up, so I honestly never got the chance to. It doesn't help that the levels are extremely short. You can blast right through levels with no reason to really explore around. One of your abilities is also extremely broken. In Project Snowblind, you can just pop your invisibility on and run past enemies no issue. They can't detect you at all, and I was able to skip so many sections of this game with this dead easy stealth mode. You can even be right in the enemies' faces, turn on your invisibility, and you just disappear. No shots are going to be thrown at you. It honestly ruins some of the heightened thrill of sneaking past enemies when I could just easily run right through them. So I was blazing through the game, wasn't really doing much interesting at a certain point, so maybe it was my own fault, but the game did offer this to me and it was effective, so I'm going to use it to finish the game. It felt like a serious oversight to me, and it got me to the ending way too quickly in a very unsatisfying manner. I would have really liked this game if it just asked me to use some of my powers specifically so I could experiment effectively and really get the feel of this arsenal at my fingertips. This is only in my opinion though, because critics at the time really loved this game, giving it favorable reviews, finding it both creative and fun. I will give it that though, at times it is a lot of fun, and I think the goofy story is interesting enough to keep you entertained enough to beat it completely. The final levels being so silly that it's hard not to have a smile on your face in its finale. Taking around 6 hours to beat, it never really overstayed its welcome. In my eyes, if this was in the Deus Ex universe, it would be known as a very bad entry into the franchise. As its own thing, I still didn't love it, but it's just fun enough to keep it from falling to the wayside on the first-person shooter glut that the original Xbox had. In my original Xbox rankings, it's going to go in dead last for now at number 5. I found the other games I would be more willing to pick back up and play, but don't worry, there is definitely much worse on this console. Thank you so much for watching. Please be sure to like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Also, leave a comment if you enjoyed this game, if you have any memories with it. I would sure love to read your opinions. And I hope you have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time here at Camp Xbox.